Hello, in this video we want to talk about the rendering equation. The rendering equation describes what happens when light interacts with the surface. So here's a picture of what that might look like. So let's just say we have a point X, and that point X will represent the pixel that we're trying to draw, and we want to find out how much light is coming off this light source and reflecting towards the viewer. And so there's a few angles that are very important. First is omega I, which is the direction that the light is going in. Secondly, omega O, the direction that the light is heading towards. Omega G, which is the geometric normal. And we have this hemisphere that describes the surrounding directions around X. So what we do is we use an equation that has 6 components. The first component, of course, is the answer to our question: how much light is going towards the camera? Secondly, the first part is easy. Well, how much light does X emitting? So maybe X is a light source. Who knows? Maybe it's not. In most cases, it's either emitting or it's not. And so the second half is what we can do is we can treat that entire hemisphere. In other words, well, let's just treat every direction coming into X as a potential source of light. And so we can say that that amount of light equals is basically a recursive definition. In other words, we keep repeating this until eventually we run into a light and no reflection. And this makes this particular equation challenging, but essentially we want to find out, well, okay, what's the total amount of light coming in to our point X? Next, we want to find out how much of that light is even capable of being reflected towards the viewer. And there's 2 parts to this. First is called the bidirectional reflectance distribution function, and this normally describes a more complicated behavior of the amount of light reflected. And secondly, we know that the geometric normal and the incoming light direction have a special relationship, namely that if you take the dot product, which represents the cosine of the angle between the two, that as the light approaches or becomes the same direction as the normal, you get maximum reflection, and as you go away from the normal, eventually get 0 reflection. And that is the rendering equation.